an example of how the shadow of the harlot can move and create the shadow of sisterhood. Okay, so an example of this would be a highly sexual woman, right? So she's a highly sexual woman and she's really in touch with her sexuality, but it's in the shadow. So she's using her sexuality to draw in, right? And she's using her sexuality to feel powerful, right? And an example of how she could do that is in a group, in a social situation, or in a room, when she's out and there's people around, what she could do, and it's a triangulation. It's like almost like a web of deception that she would create. It's like almost like she would kind of open up her sexual power, and she would hook her sexual energy into the men in the room who are in relationship with other women. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, where you're like the woman in the room that's kind of feeling that, erotic energy, and you kind of like eye out that be eye out the men, right? In the room that are in relationship with other women. What this does is, if you have that very strong sexual energy, it can, and if the man is not conscious of this pattern, he will start to feel drawn in to you, right? And then the woman who he's in relationship will start to lose energy, right? Because you're actually drawing on her energy. Right? And this can create like such a strong dynamic. So the woman who's like in that shadow of Lilith, she's just drawing, right? And it's like almost like she's just feeding, right, on the attention of feeling desired and wanted by, all the men in the room. Then often what happened is the woman is usually the shadow of Eve, right? And she will start to feel really judgmental towards the highly sexual woman, okay? So she might start judging her, or she may start to get really angry with her partner. Right. So she's like more like, can you see the power over power under? She could start to lose her power, right? Through feeling angry with her partner and judging or feeling it could start to feel very insecure, right? Or she starts to shut down, or she starts feeling like she's not beautiful, desirable, and attractive, and the other woman is. Okay, so that can happen. So this is, I'm really sharing a very kind of an example that I've seen, right? A lot. There are many, many different examples, but I just wanted to share an example because this particular triangle really creates that. Can you see the woman who's in the shadow of the harlot, the shadow of Lilith? She's not in sisterhood there. She's not honoring the union, right? She's taking, right, from the other woman. And then the woman that is in the shadow of Eve, can you see she's in judgment towards the woman in her sexual energy, and then she's kind of like losing her power, right? So interestingly, this can be flipped, right? Where the woman who is in the relationship, right, can kind of put on a act of like the perfect look, the perfect partner, the perfect family, the perfect, and kind of draw energy that way, right? Where she has all of this life and love and connection, and it's also perfect. And then the woman who's more in the shadow of Lilith, or the shadow of the Harlot, then loses energy to her. Yeah. So can you see how it can move in the other, in the opposite way? Right. So it sounds like some of you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the way that this energy moves. All right. So now I'm wanting to give you an example of how the light of Eve, or the light of the Virgin, would respond in that situation, right? So if she was in the light, she would be in that divine love, right? And she would be able to feel deeply into the woman who is in the manipulation and the seduction. And she would be able to feel that that woman's heart is closed. And she would be able to have compassion for where that for where that woman is and why she's needing to do that. Like, because usually underneath that place that is needing to draw attention towards, right? There's usually a place deep inside that is really very much longing to be loved, right? And can you see that there, that woman who's in the light of Eve, she is not affected by that strategy, right? There's no tug, there's no loss of energy, and she is very secure within her love relationship, right? With her intimate partner. So it's like there would be nothing that would be able to get in and pull energy, right? So that's an example of being in the power of the light of Eve, or the light of the Virgin. Yeah, can you see what I'm saying there? Just want to tune in. Yeah, okay. And then the being in the light of the Harlot, or the light of Lilith, right? She is deeply rested within her awakened sexual energy, right? There's nothing in her sexuality that is going out to hook and manipulate and draw in. She just naturally magnetizes what is true to come towards her. Right? Can you feel that? It's like she doesn't have to go out. She just opens up and she connects into the deep connection with that pulse of life and the pulse of the universe and the pulse of what's true to come towards her. And that naturally comes towards her. She doesn't have to go out and do any type of strategic move, and she would not would not feel a loss, right, at seeing another woman who has a perfect partner and maybe like children and a family and a home and all of that, because that's not her path, right? She's here for something else. So usually that light of the the Harlot or the light of Eve, it's connected to the holy temple priestess. It's where her sexuality is here to birth wisdom, is here to birth other women, is her sexuality moves for healing, right? For transformation, for awakening. So it's like, there isn't like a feeling of jealousy or envy, because that it just isn't her path to go down that path. So it's not, and we can have both in us. Yeah, so it's not separated out for sure, right? There are a lot of women who feel this light of Lilith, right, where they have that connection to the holy temple priestess, where their sexuality is in deeper surface, and they also have a family and children, right? So it doesn't have to be separate. But sometimes there can be a split there. I've seen that in women, right? And there's a path to integrating that. Yeah.